Hey houseplant friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Ashley and I make a lot of different types of houseplant content. I do most notably though make big box store plant shopping, so you may have seen me there. Today though, we are going to talk about my most obnoxious personality trait, which is my obsession with the philodendron ilsemanii.
My wish list, okay, that was fast enough. Philodendron ilsemanii. Philodendron ilsemanii.
Philodendron ilsemanii. So we said, heard you're looking for an ilsemanii. I'm considering selling mine. Has a 1 leaf and 3 nodes with a new growth point. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is the philodendron ilsemanii. This is an update video to the plants that I have. I did have 7. I actually just gave that 7th one to my mom. Before we jump into all of this, please don't forget to give a quick little like and subscribe. Maybe you've been watching my videos and you just forgot to hit that subscribe button. Welcome to the community. I have YouTube channel memberships if you feel like supporting my family a little bit extra this holiday season, but watching is the most important thing you could do. So thank you so much for already being here. What is an ilsemanii? I'm so glad you asked. I can't stop talking about this plant. Why is it important? So in 2018, I was working at an internship. I was getting a little bit depressed and my bosses were a little bit weird. I was making YouTube videos professionally for a bachelor couple through my internship, and I had always kind of like done YouTube off and on. Well, one day while I was supposed to be working, I was looking at some plants online and I was trying to figure out why the heck Jenna Marbles liked plants, because I had just watched her video, just seen that she was collecting plants. I didn't even watch that video when it first came out. I waited like 6 days, and on the 6th day I was like, I just missed watching Jenna. I'm just gonna watch this video, even though I don't like plants. Well, TLDR, now we're here. But when I was trying to figure out why she liked plants, I was just looking up like different genuses, like philodendron, anthurium, Hoya, like what are they? And I stumbled upon this picture. And this picture, I was like, I get it. That's awesome. I didn't hear about this plant from anyone. I didn't find it on some auction website. I literally found a picture of it on Google and I was like, that's awesome. I really like that. Over time, I eventually realized that the plant that I liked is called the philodendron ilsemanii, and it happened at the time to be one of the most expensive, hard to get plants of all time. I talked about it a ton on my YouTube channel though. And then in November or around October or September of 2020, someone named Talanzia22 reached out to me and they were like, I would love to send you an ilsemanii. I lost it, I went crazy, and it was a Kunzo ilsemanii. It had been directly imported to that person from Kunzo. They purchased it. And yeah, I grew out that ilsemanii until things got a little rough, and I ended up selling my ilsemanii to pay for rent, because at the time a couple leaves on a cutting, a couple nodes sold for $5,000, $7,000, and I hadn't really been able to work because I was big sad. I eventually, like, you know, got help and whatever, but the whole point is, what I'm trying to say is that this plant is deeply ingrained in my life. It was like what got me into plants in the first place. I didn't even know it was rare. I didn't know it was special. I just loved it. I really regret selling my original one because so many people have told me that it's the most beautiful Kunzo they've ever seen, and I agree. I don't think I've seen a nicer one. Now that the prices are down, I had reordered myself some ilsemanii, but the best place I could get them from is from a seller named Joe Palm, who sells from Hawaii, and he sells the Costa Rican lineage ilsemanii, which is this. And there's a couple different lineages of ilsemanii. There's the Japanese Kunzo. I think there's just like another Japanese variety. But yeah, this is the Joe Palm, aka the Costa Rican, it's focusing on the Costa Rican plant. I think was originally collected from Costa Rica in like the 60s or the 70s, And when Joe got a hold of it, I think it was in 2002, and it was after years of begging his friend to like sell him a cutting. Now Joe sells it or grows it all over his entire property, and he pretty much just sells, like, I don't even know if he sells other plants or if he only sells the ilsemanii. He sells a lot of ilsemanii. So I purchased 2 plants from him, one premium color one, which is the one I just showed you, and then I purchased this one, which I don't even think I got a really good picture of it, honestly, but it was fairly green, and there was 3 plants in one pot because I was gonna buy 2 really low color ones, but then he found one with 3 plants in one pot, and he was like, this would be way easier to ship. Let's just do this. He sent them to me in these gigantic boxes, and this was also after a catastrophe where I ordered an ilsemanii, and then I'm pretty sure I got like a diseased tissue culture. This one was $225 shipped. Oh my god, it's even better than I could have imagined. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, a new bombshell has entered the villa. Oh no. Oh, she's got a bacterial infection. Okay, well, I'll have to message the seller. It's literally on every single leaf. Not ideal. And I had it, after opening it, I had it back up in the air, back to the cellar within the same hour. And the seller was really great for helping me get that, you know, going so quickly. I have since propagated my green ilsemanii. When you're using a scalpel to propagate any plant, you want to do this really gentle and light kind of seesaw motion that applies the pressure back and forth. And then you can steer the scalpel to make sure that you're not cutting anything you don't want to cut. In this case, I wanted to keep the petiole and leaf directly below this node. So I'm going to flip the plant around here, and I'm going to now cut in a way that will not injure the petiole that is connected to the node below this one. And I was actually able to do it beautifully here. It was a perfect cut. Let's go. Okay, what you guys didn't see was I cut this off. This is the other top cut. This one has littler roots, but it has 3 of them, so I'm not concerned. Ooh, that came up so nicely. Oh, look at that. Oh yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay, so here's 2 leaves. Here's our roots. Generally, I wait until the roots are about this long. Like, so if you just had this and that, I think that's fine. But I just am excited, okay? I'm excited. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's go. I went nuts propagating it. I have so many plants. I had one more, but like I told you, I took it to my mom and I gave it to her because I just wanted to be nice. I gave her the most rooted, well grown out one, and it was also a top cut because people have a really hard time with ilsemanii when they grow it for the first time. They might even kill it because ilsemanii have unusual needs compared to other philodendron. Other philodendron, you can kind of like just put them in normal soil and just like water them every here and there, and they're totally fine. And if you overwater them, that's totally fine. But ilsemanii are incredibly epiphytic. They want to be in orchid bark and sphagnum moss. They want to be kept like not moist, like wet, but the moss needs to be relatively like, I don't even know what like a in between like dry and moist would be, but somewhere in there. And then you have to fertilize it. You have to change out the moss if it becomes like, I think moss has like a shelf life of like every 6 months you need to change the moss or add new nutrients because moss runs out of nutrients quicker, which is why people add soil to their moss like me to make a dirty moss mix. So I grow all my ilsemanii in a dirty moss mix, and this is the update of the ilsemanii I propagated. I haven't propagated my colorful one. So this has given me 4 new leaves, I think, since I got it. It did lose 1 leaf in shipping, and then it lost another one pretty recently from when I was away. And you also want to air layer your ilsemanii. It's really important. They won't grow as fast if you don't air layer them. Fertilizer you want to use for ilsemanii is 4-10-3. And the other thing to note is that ilsemanii are actually not fully chimerically variegated. I'm pretty sure that there's something called transposon, and me and a couple other people, Dom Cedillo, Joe Palm, and then a couple other people, I'm so sorry, I can't remember their names, like we all talked about this back in 2020 and 2021, but we all have a lot of theories about ilsemanii because ilsemanii is unique in terms of other variegated philodendron because it actually never loses its variegation. You can get like 15, I think the most recorded green leaves in a row between like variegation that someone actually kept track of was 13 green leaves, and then the variegation came back like crazy. And it's not like normal, like if your Monstera alba went green, it's not coming back. Ilsemanii, they go green and then you get color back, and it's very seemingly stable somewhat, right? Like squint. It's not really stable because every single leaf you get is different, but it's stable in that your ilsemanii will never fully revert, and if you buy a reverted cutting, you're basically guaranteed that you will get color. So if you're buying one that is like this, for example, right? Let's say you bought this one and I sold this to you. Okay, this is a very green plant here. Literally, I don't think there's any color on any of those leaves. You bought this, I sold it to you. I think unvariegated ilsemanii right now sell anywhere between $30 to $60. Some people will sell them for like $70 or more if they, you know, if there's someone who knows that ilsemanii, you can always get color back on them. But you could actually pay hundreds less for your ilsemanii if you're willing to buy one that's green and then just do the work to grow it in. And because they're not fully chimeric, they actually respond really well to the type of fertilizer that is 4-10-3. Anyways, all of that is to say, I could talk and spit out ilsemanii information forever, but let me actually just show you the plants. I already showed you the high color one. Let's talk about this little one for a second. This little guy here is a Japanese ilsemanii. We don't know where it's from, if it's Kunzo or where this specific one came from originally. I was able to track the seller all the way back to the original person who imported, but they did unfortunately import so long ago that we just have no idea. And this one has given me 5 new leaves since I've gotten it. Each leaf has gotten bigger. This is the current biggest leaf, and I'm really happy and proud of this. This one looks a lot to me like a Kunzo. It looks very different in terms like the pattern, the variegation from the Costa Rican one. Now the ones I've actually propagated and cut up. Okay, here's the original plant right here. Wow. And I did just water and fertilize these with the 4-10-3. It's doing really good. We actually have three new growth points. There's probably more. I mostly chopped it all the way far back as I could, obviously, but I did leave a lot of stem and then I air layered it. So actually right down here you can see 2 new little buds, plus the new leaf that just already came out on this guy right there. How fun! So this one is gonna have 3 new leaves, and this one looks a little silly goofy, but yeah, he's all good. And so far all of the new leaves that have come out have had variegation. The one at my mom's house had variegation. This has variegation, and that's coming from a completely green plant. What you are seeing on this that might look like variegation is actually edema. This leaf in particular, this had a water blister on it the size of like America, the country. This one does have a little bit of variegation on the sides. But yeah, so when you chop back like that, you're forcing the plant to grow from a new point, which will, I mean, unless it's a top cut, right? But that will help kind of like encourage it. It's kind of like if your phone stops working and you just like restart it. It's like, okay, well that didn't work. Let's restart and try again. This is one of the top cuts. I already showed you earlier. Totally green. And then this is our new leaf, which it's very shiny, so it is hard to see, but it is variegated. Has a couple white flecks around the side. It is a little scrunched. When I got home from Arizona, it had grown itself up into the corner of this jar, and then it got stuck, so I had to like very carefully maneuver it so that it would come out and not be stuck anymore. This one I'm so excited about. I am a little bit nervous. The color of the moss gives me pause, but the roots in there are looking really happy. I don't know if you can see that moss in there, but it's looking like maybe there's some algae, which means I need to swap the moss. We haven't talked about this one yet. So this guy, this had almost no roots when I potted it up, and these are all single node cuttings. I feel very confident in propagating ilsemanii, so I don't mind having more than one or less, like just one node, and then like going with that. If you haven't propagated ilsemanii before and you don't want to do it in moss, please have more than one node. Also, something I didn't mention at the beginning is that before you propagate ilsemanii, you need to air layer it. That's what I'm doing right here with this big plant, okay? Do you see how, and this is a very crude air layering job, it's not doing the best, but do you see how I had moss growing up it, and then you have these roots that are actually shooting off from the side? See that one kind of where my pointer finger is? So when you have those roots, before you chop, ideally, in the past, I've never cut an ilsemanii for propagation if the roots were less than an inch long and preferably fuzzy, because that way when you cut it, your propagation has already started. Like, you've already started the propagation while it's on the main vine, and that will help ensure that you don't lose your plant. This used to be, I mean, like, I sold an ilsemanii to someone, I think for $5,500, and they killed it within 6 months because they propagated it without air layering it, and it just made it really upset. And I also don't think they were growing it in moss. People will they'll dead cut. That's what I call it. When people cut specifically in ilsemanii and they didn't air layer it first, I call it dead cut, because you're cutting it without any like backup reinforcements, essentially. Like, you went in, you're a one-man army going against like 10,000 soldiers, like it's not gonna go well. So when you air layer ilsemanii first and give it at least 1 inch of roots and then cut it, you're almost like, you have a 99% guarantee that your propagation is going to survive. And when people were paying a lot of money for these, that was kind of like really important. And so when people didn't take care of their plants properly, some bad things would happen. And some people have that much money to just spend on plants, but like, we want to always make sure that, you know, you protect the things that are important to you, and ilsemanii is important to me. And so the number one thing I tell people when I sell these, which I haven't sold in a really long time, is that they need to keep it in moss or dirty moss mix, and you need to air layer it before you prop it. Otherwise, you're gonna be sad. And not saying that dead cuts can't make it, but I would say that dead cuts have only a 30% chance of being successful. Ilsemanii really don't like water propagation. Not saying that it's impossible again, but they don't like it, and like, why give yourself lower chances? Yap. This one was a top cut as well, so you can see right there. This looks like it has a new leaf coming in, but that's actually just the cataphyll. So that's not a new leaf yet, but that is where the new leaf will come from. This one is rooting so good. Look at that big root right there. Yum. Okay, this was also a top cut. Yeah, this was a top cut right there. And this bad boy looks pretty decent, like, you know, for the plant he came from. He's got some variegation. This one does have a leaf coming in. So that is super exciting. It's also rooting so well. There are a ton of roots growing around the side. It's hard to tell if you don't know what the difference between... Wow, you scared me. If you don't know what the difference between moss and the roots are. But yeah, this one is doing really, really good. Careful. Careful. Okay, show the camera. Show the camera. Look. Look at the baby. Show the camera. Show your monster truck. Yeah. Does the baby have a monster truck? Who is that?
Baby.
Is it the baby? What's its name?
Guy.
Guy. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is the final one I want to talk about, this ilsemanii, and it is rooting very nicely. There's a lot of roots there, and I don't remember if this one had new growth or not, or sorry, I don't remember if this is one plant or if I put two plants in one for this one. And I actually can't tell if this has new growth yet, so I thought we would take a look together. It does have a lot of good roots. If you can see. Sorry, I know the glare is so bright, but you can see them on the bottom. So yeah, let's take a look together. See what's going on, because I can't tell. Oh dude, look at this root system. This is almost root bound in this moss. You see all those roots going around the sides? There's little ones too, there's not just big ones. And you see that pink on the inside, deep in there, that bright pink? That is new growth. So it's just all the way down in there. Oh my gosh, this thing it's like a cage. It barely bends when I mess with it. Okay, there's definitely new growth. It's just really deep down in there. There's probably more than one. See if you can't see that. You see that white? Yeah, that right there, that bright white, that is new growth coming out from a node. And it's gonna tunnel its way through all of this moss. And I'm sure there's another new growth point, but since we've confirmed there's new growth, I don't really want to mess with it anymore because it's delicate and I don't want to accidentally bruise it or something. Yeah. Here's a better look at this one, since I did a really bad job at kind of showing it to you earlier. Looks so good, dude. I love ilsemanii. These ones do look really different though from the Kunzo, so I'm glad that I have this plant, but I think after I've like propagated it a bunch and made it so that they all look really pretty and colorful instead of like a more modeled, I'll probably sell a bunch of them. It feels a little weird to sell ilsemanii at this point because you used to be able to sell them for like thousands of dollars and I sold mine for cheap. You guys need to understand, when I sold my ilsemanii for like $5,000 and $7,000, other people were selling them for $25,000. So like just unrooted node cuttings that are 100% going to die, by the way, people were selling those for $5,000. And I only sold mine to pay for rent. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with selling plants to like make money, like get your bag and everything, and I would probably have done that, but I want you guys to know I'm not greedy, okay? I just needed to pay my rent and I was in a sad place. So that's kind of it. I think my favorite out of all of these is actually this one. well, of the Costa Rican variety. It reminds me the most in terms of leaf shape of my very original one. This is actually the closest one, but I definitely want to acquire a Kunzo that I know for sure. Like, I'm sure this is a Kunzo. If someone imported from Japan, like, the odds of it not being a Kunzo are so drastically low, but there's no phytosanitary certificate of import to prove it. But I'm really excited. This is the oldest leaf, this green one, and then this is the next oldest one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one. So this was my first leaf with this plant, this one. So I've grown all of these in. It came to me with 2 or 3 leaves, and they died from damage. Here's actually like the remnants of one of them right here. These these are little and you ship them, like, they just kind of have a hard time, but yeah, I love ilsemanii. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching and being here. I hope you guys have been liking these Friday, Wednesday videos. I know that they're a little bit shorter than what I would generally do, but I just really want to be posting 3 days a week. 2 days a week is completely manageable. 3 is a little bit of a challenge because it means I'm filming and editing pretty much every day, but I think I'm ready to just like increase my workload. So thank you guys so much for watching and being here. Thanks for listening to me blabble. I'm officially out of time. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next houseplant section. Bye-bye. Kai, say bye! Say bye-bye!
Bye-bye.